Shalom, call Halim La Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, and sincere shalom to the 144,001 Now, there has been a ongoing, long-going, already debunked 10 times over discussion that Mary was didn't have sex with Joseph essentially, and he got cucked by an angel. You know, that's how Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, was born. But when you clearly break down the scriptures, man, Joseph was Yahweh Shai's biological father, and it legit tells you that in Matthew, the first chapter. Okay, but before I go there, let's just type this in right here. Just type in Ruth and David. Simple, right? This is Revelations, the 22nd chapter. Get the red letter, all right? So this is Yahweh Shai speaking. I, Yahweh Shai, have sent my angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star. So let's go into the concordance for the root and offspring. All right. So you got root. Let's play this.
Strong's G 4491. Chridza.
Okay, you heard it. Haritza, which means that which like a root springs from a root, a sprout, a shoot. Metaphorically, offspring, progeny, so progenitor, pretty much is going into. It's a prefix. So, what comes from a root? What starts the root? A seed, right? A seed. Now let's go into, and what is seed? Sperm. Okay, that's what Yahweh Shai is saying, and what the scriptures say, which is Yahweh Shai, anyways, right? That he is of the direct lineage of King David. Okay, so let's go. This is John, St. John, the 7th chapter, and verse 42. Have not the scripture said that Hamashiach, which is the proper way of saying Christ, cometh of the seed of David, out of the town of Bethlehem where David was. So let's go into the Strongs right there for that word seed. Where was it? Let me do that. All the numbers jumbling up. I always get that word seed. As you can see, sperma. All right. The semen virile. The product of this semen, seed, children, offspring, progeny. What we just read previously in Revelation. So Yahweh Shai came through the lineage of sperm, all right, which comes from where? Where does sperm come from? A man, a living, fleshly man who was Joseph, all right? Now let's prove that. Let's go to Matthew, the first chapter. So this is Matthew, the first chapter, and it says the genealogy of Yahweh Shai. It says it right there. The book of the generation of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, the son of David, the son of Abraham. So, when you dive into the scriptures deeper, Yahweh Shai was Isaac, and he was Solomon. All right, just going off Matthew 1:1, when it says the son of David, he was King Solomon, and the son of Abraham, he was Isaac. So it tells you the direct lineage is going into the from Abraham to Isaac unto David, and then and then who's in the direct lineage of David that carries sperm? Matthew 1 and 16. And Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary. So, what does it mean to be somebody's husband? That or to be somebody's wife? You had sex. Of whom was born Yahushua, who was called Hamashiach. So Joseph is is directly tied to who? David. Okay? So what does that tell you? I mean, it's that simple, man. Now, let's go a bit further, right? Let's go. Let's dive a little deeper into this. Let's go to Let's get Wisdom of Solomon, which was written by Yahushua, right? Because he was King Solomon. So this is Wisdom of Solomon, the 7th chapter, and verse 5. For there is no king that had any other beginning of birth, for all men have one entrance into life, which is what your father, laid down with your mother, and he put his seed in her, and it came to the egg, and the blood and everything, the bones and whatever else started mixing together, and that's how you come into the interest of life. And the light going out, is everybody dies, right? That's how your spirit leaves your body. All right, everybody's spirit left their body. Even with what was his name? Enoch. When Enoch, he didn't die a normal way, but when he was translated, his body didn't go up, right? Because his body he still sinned. He still went off. He just went a different way. He went to a similar fashion as the elect that are going to be living and are beamed up. All right, but it's still your spirit being taken out of your body, and sperm being placed in a woman. And is Yahushua not a king? Right? For there is no king. Yahushua is the King of Kings, right? So let's get actually let's read that, right? King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Let's do that. King, Kings, then there. Yeah, that should pop up, right? Revelations 19 and 16. And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lords of Lords. So what does that tell you? Revelation 17 and 14. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of Lords and King of Kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. So what does that tell you? All right. Now let's go a bit further. Let's just dive a little bit further, and then I'll wrap this up. Let's go to Isaiah the 7th chapter and verse 14. So this is Yahushua, and this is a cut to you, Israelites. You lost sheep that are saying Yahushua is not made mention in the Old Testament. All right, you're lost. That's just the best way of putting it. So this is Isaiah 7 and 14. Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. So who is this talking about? Yahushua. Now let's go into that word virgin, because you see there's two types of ways a virgin can give birth, right? But let's just go into the word virgin, and then I'll break that down a little bit. So when you go into the virgin, it says what? Virgin, young woman of marriageable age, maid or newly married. So what is a marriageable age? When a woman has her period. When a woman has her period, she is ready to be married off, which means what? Her father, all right, or whatever man has authority over her, could be her brother, her uncle, her grandfather, but the proper context will be her father. Her father may be at his work site, or uh, his son, the friend of a son. Uh, or I think I said that wrong. One of his friends that have a son, right? He strong, healthy. He's making some good cash. He's righteous, and he'll be like, "All right, yeah, you can have my daughter. Here you go." Right? So just to prove the point of a marriageable age, let's type this. Uh, so a marriageable age is whenever a woman has her period. First Corinthians 7:36. But if any man think that he behaveth himself uncomely towards his virgin, if she pass the flower of her age, and need so require, let him do what he will, he sinneth not. Let them marry. So what is that talking about? That's talking about a woman having a period. All right, once she has her period, she's good to go, because that's what a period represents. Once a woman has a period, that's her body giving the signal that she's ready to conceive. She's ready to be married. Because sex, what we know as sex intercourse, is true marriage. Marriage is not getting a ring, walking down an aisle, dress suit, bridesmaids, and all this, and the government papers. Now, yes, they had ceremonies because it's still a big event for a man and a woman to come together. But the whole point of marriage is sex, right? Not a ceremony and government papers. Okay, so when do women typically have their periods? Around 12 years old. That's the general age um, a girl, right, an adolescent becomes a woman. And for a man, it's 12 years old too, because that's when his testicles drop and he's able to create seed. Okay? And Yahweh Shai was getting busy at 12, if I'm not mistaken. That's when Yahweh Shai really started putting in work. Let's see. Let me just type in 12 and just go to the New Testament. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. let me um Let me look it up real quick. And then I'm gonna go back to Isaiah because I wasn't finished with that. I just want to get this point right here. All right, here it is. Luke the 12th chapter, not the 12th chapter, Luke chapter 2. And here we go. So this is Luke chapter 2 and verse 42. And when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast. And when they had fulfilled the days as they returned, the child Yahushua tarried behind in Jerusalem, and Joseph and his mother knew not of it. But they, supposing him to have been in company, went a day's journey, and they sought him among their kinsfolk and acquaintance. Verse 46, and it came to pass that after 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. And all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers. And when they saw him, they were amazed. And his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou thus dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing, because they didn't know what was going on, right? But the main point is that Yahweh Shai got busy. But how did he get busy? Even though he wasn't taught, because he was a Yahweh was directly dealing with Yahweh Shai on an extremely high level. Now let's go back to Isaiah 7. Now the word virgin right there, we're gonna go into it so we can get the understanding of what it means, right? Can take it for face value. And what does it mean? Virgin, young woman of marriageable age, of maid or newly married, right? I think I already went over this, but I'm just do it again, right? Now, let's go to Genesis 24, 24th chapter, and verse 16. So this is Genesis 24 and 16. And the damsel was very fair to look upon, a virgin, neither had any man known her. and she went down to the well and filled her pitcher and came up. So let's go into that word virgin right there. I guarantee you it's going to be a totally different word used for Mary. And you see right there, different word. It's talking about a woman that legitimately just didn't have sex. Okay? So now let's finish this off in Matthew, the first chapter, and verse 23. And it's Matthew 1:23. Behold, a virgin shall be with child, and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted is the Most High is with us. So this is just reiterating Isaiah. Okay, now let's go into the Strongs and see what proper context, right? So what does it say right there? All right, a marriageable maiden, a woman who has never had sexual intercourse with a man, one's marriageable daughter, all right? And that's the one right here. One's marriageable daughter, a marriageable maiden. Because that's the same thing we read in Isaiah, okay? So Mary, she didn't have sex until she had sex with Joseph, and that first time, and that only time they had sex for that time period is when they had conceived Yahushua, and then as Yahushua was being formed in the womb, they didn't have sex again. All right, so that's it. That's the proper breakdown going into the virgin birth. Because, like I said, there's two types of virgin births. Hypothetically, right? You have a virgin who first time has sex, and then you have and then she gets pregnant from it. Because pregnancy is not 100% thing, right? Um, and then you have what the false debunked. Mary never had sex. Joseph just got cucked, right? So that's it. Lord's will is edifying. Shalom.